major choices are made, that's when one team gets off of the 5,000 gold lead and never really lets up from there. We'll see if this mid game can go a bit better for Flash Wolves or if it's going to end here.
And even though the blue side worked for Kingzone in game number 3, that was of course Flash Wolves choosing red. Now Kingzone in game 4, they will choose the red side. They don't want to deal those pesky counter picks, and they got away with the early Jace in game number 3. Let's see what their plan is for game number 4.
Flash Wolves still holding on to that Rise pick as well, which a lot of people are calling for them to drop in favor of some of those more flexible picks that Kingzone can use on the red side.
Kingzone's red side bans have been pretty consistent so far in this series. Malzahar was dropped when they were on the blue side, but that was the 3rd ban we were seeing pretty commonly from them.
And maybe it's more jungle pinch here from the Kingzone side. Flash Wolves did first pick Rakan before, gave it away later on. Are they worried about Gorilla picking that champion again? No, it's still the Aurelia that is more important. This actually matches their game 2 bans exactly. And we'll see if Malzahar does indeed show up on the Kingzone side. We should then match that game 2 draft.
For a lot of timer here, do they just roll back the Malzahar that we did not see prized in the previous game? Talia priority, I think, will be very high potentially for both teams in this game after BD's outstanding game in game number 3. And the last ban here, of course, the champion that was first picked in game number 2, the Skarner. That's been the default for Muji.
Again, the full jungle focus here from Kingzone. Definitely paid off last time around. See what Mugen's answer will be today, though. They actually have the option. Could first pick that Trundle.
Sure, but instead they want the Vladimir partial flex, of course. Can see it go to top lane, but Maple had such a good game on that champion as well. Their one win was in the back of his performance.
And honestly, when you see Vladimir locked in against a team that's really struggled in the team fight, honestly, just from first pick, it very early tells me we will win eventually, because Vladimir is such a good closer. If he gets an early game that is just allowed to farm and then can run in at the 5v5. So probably going to be a team fight draft behind it. They can even take the Ornn that's eluded them quite a few times in the first round if they want.
That actually is what kind of shows up in my head as well, as the Ornn or the Sion could get banned away in that second phase. Are you worried about losing out in your team fight comp?
Then you're gonna have to sacrifice either your jungle pick to another set of bans, or not be able to grab something like the Kaisa, which has been so powerful.
Let's see what the priority ends up being. Of course, the Ezreal locked in. No one is surprised at all. 4 Ezreal games in a row, and there is that Trundle, the partial priority. 3 bans in to take the Trundle away, try to make sure Peanut gets the better jungle matchup.
And then the question is it a blocker pick? I know, Kobe, you were frustrated that there was actually a true tank chosen in game number 3, and that tank was stuffed by the Trundle Ultimate and Pillar again and again, even though Hanabi largely had a decent game. Is this going to be, once again, the AD carry matchup? It stayed true the entire 3 games.
I think you really want to get your hands, whoa!
Rakan.
Yeah, you would expect the second pick to be coming right after Freak.
There's the hover. And I don't think you jump off Kaisa to go for a later scaling champion without going for Rakan alongside it.
Sometimes you can read into timers and see that this is a pretty late shift coming through on the side of the Flash Wolves. Maybe they read that they need that extra initiation power from the support, expecting an Ornn ban, expecting potentially further bans of the Talia that was so good from BDD in the last game. If you take it on this 3rd pick on red side, you can just ban the Yasuo, and there are other good matchups into Talia, but it's one that was already used against you recently. You want to take it out.
And this also spells that they're not going to go for their support pick for a while. It gives Flash Wolves time to ban away more of the counter picks. The Morgana, one of the famous ones here as well, that Flash Wolves can kind of secure a strong 2-on-2 in that bottom lane, one that has served them well this match.
Well, that's how you know we're getting a very nice drop dripped to us. There's counters everywhere. There's opportunity cost to locking one thing in and giving up another. The Yasuo, like we mentioned, is banned, and like you say, Morgana will be a very standard ban. However, it's Kingzone who, with range supports, have traditionally really flustered and misplayed.
In the end, though, after the second bans come through, it's going to be Kingzone to show first which one it's going to be. They would want to hold on for the counter pick still for Khan.
Camille would maybe be the second ban if you want to pair one with Jace for kind of blind pickable split pushers that can do a lot of work.
Of course, your hands are tied. Do you try to get a better matchup against Prey and Gorilla, or do you try to remove some of the con options on that top side? Camille's going to be on the other side, actually, worried about Flash Wolves, maybe taking that one early and not having a great answer to it that we did see the Jax before.
Big surprise that no Ornn ban. Tahm Kench would be the blind support you would imagine if they were going to take one, but the Morgana, like you said, is also available.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of options and not giving away the look of either of these teams quite yet. Is it going to be another? Oh, it's not the top lane. It's Tahm Kench here. So not going to be able to have that Ezreal TK on that bottom side.
All right, well, still a lot of options available. That Morgana, of course, is up despite maybe some of the faults of a range support for Gorilla. Alistair, Braum, still some options here. 10 seconds to go. You expect them to wait on Khan's pick. 5 seconds to go. The hover is onto Morgana, hoping that Black Shield can deal with the hope for Wakana engages that is locked in.
Yeah, and it's going to be long range here from Kingzone on the bottom side. Throwing out the bindings, throwing out the Mystic shot. You have to be very careful of the all-ins from Rakan. Even with the Black Shield, going to have to be very on point with that timing.
And while the Morgana fits, we've already said a couple of times about Kingzone's inability to really wield those range spots, because range supports usually need more jungle attention. They can be turned on and killed very easily, and every team that researches Kingzone says target bot lane, the range support makes it just more susceptible to that targeting.
In addition to the laning phase, I remember all last Worlds hearing about Gorilla's frustrations when other members of the team have to be the main initiators. And Kingzone right now are looking at Khan to have to be the main initiator for their last pick there.
Oh, looks like Mood's going to give himself the weak matchup. Trundle, usually considered a counter pick into Olaf. You still do have some early priority, but your days are numbered on that champion.
Yeah, it's definitely a nuanced matchup here. You have to take control, take the initiative as the Olaf team, and look for the priority early.
And to me, that initiative starts at level 1. I see Olaf Braum comps just 3 buff by the power of Braum level 1. Remember that every game a team has been on blue side this series, they run straight into the enemy red side jungle and start taking away camps. Definitely want to do that with the Olaf to evade some of those level 3 1v1s, where honestly it truly does look like Olaf is a bit exposed.
Drafts are locked in. Vladimir into the top lane. Hanabi will have to make sure he can get his way into the fights. That Gallia mid we didn't talk about very much, but there is a lot of hard engage to follow up the Rakan, to follow up the Olaf, to get Maple into that side lane, to maybe match the roams of VDD or be the first to get there. And we'll see the side lane pressure can work out. Or Flash Wolves backs against the wall here.
Yep, far more reliable initiation on the Flash Wolves side compared to Kingzone. Kingzone, though, they have the tools to get creative. Talia wall, they can create terrain with that, as well as the Trundle pillar, try and make it easier to land their crowd control abilities.
And listen to that crowd. Paris is ready to see if Flash Wolves can make this upset win happen. Despite having the better record of the group stage, almost everyone assumed Kingzone were still going to be the better team once we got to the best of 5s. The champions of Korea almost in perpetuity end up being the best team in the world. At least some Korean team is.
Roar of the crowd here in Paris is awe-inspiring. They are so excited. They want the 5 games, I'm sure. Flash Wolves have definitely got plenty of cheers as this particular series is growing on. People love to see an underdog win. So excited to get into this one. Just looking at the loading screen on our screens, Khan is actually taking Comet in the top side to reinforce that laning matchup against the Vladimir.
Gonna be an interesting one to watch for here. That Shogath for him versus the Vlad. Hope he can sustain it and be a great frontline champion. We do again have a quick pause start of this game. We will get in before too terribly long. We will be told what the cause is at some point here. But of course, just the pressure is on for these players. Flash Wolves must win 2 straight. They've put, once again, carry pressure onto Hanabi on the top side. Vladimir here for him. Sorta has reconnected the game. There's a thumbs up from him next to the ref. Might be ready to go very shortly.
And Flash Wolves are putting a lot in Sword Art's hands. You know, the reliable guy over the years, hard initiation. He's the one with the Rakan. Rakan, Galio, a combination that's been feared since the champions were released. And this is going to be Flash Wolves' main initiation.
I think the hovers were also super interesting to track, because it was first Galio Jarvan, and then we all know that's about getting in there. Then it was the Zac, and we call that the bouncy castle comp, where so many knockups that can be chained on each other. They settle on the Olaf, which is pretty different to the 2 other things they were suggesting. Maybe that's just trusting in Sword Art being the true engage. It's not a Camille. It is a bit more situational, but he's the only real conduit for that big ultimate.
He's going to have the extended range of being paired with Xayah as well. So the playmaking ability is there. Will the execution be?
Execution has been the name of the game. Getting to the right places, playing the fights properly, making the good rotations happen. And that's a big part of how Kingzone won the prior games. a huge set of great plays in the mid-game, getting more than Flash Wolves ever got with those movements around the map. We have the Xayah Rakan doing out for Flash Wolves. 3 games in a row, they've gotten first blood in the bot lane. Now on a combo that's supposed to win that lane.
And again, this is a teleport Ezreal in the bottom lane, something we've seen a lot over this tournament. Extra map pressure here, being able to teleport back the lane after you purchase your tier, keep up the pressure of minions, keep up the bottom lane focus. Yet, it has been Mugen for Flash Wolves, constantly ganking the bottom lane and finding kills for them. Woohoo! It's been able to turn the tides.
That could have been a really good combo. Of course, Khan could easily have learned Rupture and gone for a bit more there. Thankfully for Bet, he was able to walk far enough away. And as we look at what's happened with the invades, there have not been that much deep vision. There is one ward inside the red buff that Kingzone was able to put down. That was Gorilla's ward, but no such deep wards from Flash Wolves. So a advantage in vision from Kingzone's level 1.
With the Morgana, they feel strong enough to actually re-invade top side and keep fighting. Or anything here, they're actually going for a late invade onto the blue buff.
Taking away the control from an Olaf, so huge in this matchup, allowing Peanut a lot more room to work with. Kingzone not quite out yet, though.
There could be a smite bait for this one. It's gonna go over to Peanut. It was a nice attempt there by Mugen as the Vlad came down. That does mean that one camp lead, and now this Wolf, pretty healthy with a level lead. Peanut can push Mugen out of the jungle. He took the gamble and lost.
He kind of reasoned that he started on the walls, but there's no way he could have killed all the wolves and contested the blue. So take the big wolf, and look at BDD. He's backing up his jungler. It's the full court press here from Kingzone.
Yep, Kingzone turning the tides here onto Flash Wolves. Invading from both sides, all members of the team getting involved except for the bottom lane so far. And Mugen going to be a very late level 2 there.
Be a pretty significant camp lead here for Peanut. Does pick up the majority of level 3, can get it with perhaps the Scuttle Crab, and then just the start of another camp with the Comet that we commented on during the little pause there. There's even more laning reinforcement for Khan in an unfamiliar matchup. He hasn't actually played against the Vladimir in the LCK on this show, though.
Peanut walks the reward on his way to mid lane, hoping to find something to do, but just leaches a bit of XP, gets that 3rd level, and walks back down to the bottom side now. And there is now nothing left for Mugen to take, it looks like. Only 10 CS. What a rough start to the game.
Completely starving this Olaf, and this is a huge, huge advantage here for Kingzone. There's not a lot of options, left for Mugen to get back out and actually have his presence be felt. It's so early in the game that even though you go back and you purchase boots, you can't use your Predator yet. So he's just going to be looking for scraps.
Your Predator's to walk back to the base faster to get into his jungle. He's now looking for something to do as the Raptors are still up. So level 2 hoping to find an intelligent outpathing on the opposition. These Raptors are up, but says, you know what, I think the red is up too. Sadly doesn't land the damage, so it doesn't leash to him, and actually loses a few seconds with that. And Peanut level 4 versus 2 is on the way over.
Will Peanut check it, or will he just go for the full clear? Seems like he will check.
Oh, Mugen could be running out of time. There is no smite for Peanut, though, so it's a pretty easy secure on his side. 800 out, but he doesn't know there is no smite. Can Mugen actually go for this? It's not going to happen, and will lose out on the attempt to counter jungle.
It's because Maple was in base for that invade. BDD had control of mid. He was back first, and even though Maple channels the teleport, Mugen has to cede control. Still a level 2 Olaf. Level 2 level difference here for Peanut. This is a stomping in jungle experience.
Usually the sword is about information. Now it's just him watching sadly. Lose that out on further camps. Will be a full clear and then some for Peanut on the top side. Struggle street for Mugen, who's just now got to level 3.
Even Khan's able to push in the lane. We talked about that at the very beginning of the siege, or this stage, I should say, of this match. If Khan gets the push, they tend to win a lot more at MSI. Right now, he's got pressure. He knows Peanut can do a lot more in the jungle as well. Level 5 to level 3, a just shellacking in this jungle matchup as the Wolves finally respawn for Mugen to get something.
And the turn battle ward actually came through from Peanut. Peanut was the one who spent his time in the face of the jungle. He knows the respawn timer. Hello, Mugen, says Peanut. 2 levels up. These are my Wolves.
All right, is the Undertow going to be able to snag something away? They have a collapse in the moment.
BDD's coming down level 5 for both mid laners. Maple turns right back around, says, I can't fight for this anymore. Maybe the big wolf does come through. That is at least something, a little consolation prize, but he's now gotten 1 total wolf camp this game. Nice pillar, can buy some time, looking for the knockback, and a little bit more as Maple is going to be shoved back in. Healthy enough, though, as Mugen also gets to grab his Braum.
Actually, one of the few games where you want to reveal yourself in the mid lane has been up quite a few times. He did it earlier when he went straight through the mid lane to get the Scuttle Crab on bot side. And the reason for that is they don't have any wards bot side. Whenever there's camps up, you have to be so afraid as Mugen of an invade. They're just saying, hey, I'm bottom side, what are you going to do? It's going to cause multi-pronged defense play that might get extra CS and invades for the side of Kingzone.
Here we go into the top side. Mugen gets the first slow. Now, can he outplay Rupture? Can he outplay a Silence? Of course, that was already used to go after the Vladimir TP. He's actually just Khan able to walk away. Mugen out of mana, cannot chain axes anymore. And Khan is just fine relieving the pressure on the top side.
Yeah, he gets a couple of autos off, but that's about it. All he can do now is go back and get his Krugs. There's already been pings down on the Raptors, trying to keep the timer there for Peanut and Kingzone.
Nice little play there by Betty. Managed to grab all those caster minions here and makes it +3 in this bottom lane. The hard engage certainly has not happened. The first TP, of course, we saw from Fight earlier, stacking that tier.
Now, BDD being 6 is very important here. As we said before previously, BDD and Peanut work so well together to control with early leads like this. He can join jungle invades that Peanut starts off with the Weaver's Wall and make a huge difference.
While Galio is also able to respond to skirmishes with a targeted ability, the terrain can change very quickly. The flashes are still up on the side of Kingzone. So when you're behind, it's so much harder to get value out of the hero's entrance compared to when you're ahead.
Coming down on a level 4 Olaf, still gonna be a little bit scared. Here we go though, the Raptors have respawned. Peanut's got the timer. Gonna start him up here, and Maple's gonna try and steal him away, it looks like.
And only secures a single one. Good burst out of Peanut. Mugen comes by, this time close enough on level 6 versus 5 here, is able to grab at least something.
He had to take the blue buff just to really catch up and experience. That means Maple without blue buff. Is it going to meet
at
here
first
or not?
Sort of there they see Peanut, but they've got backfills as 3 people are right there. Gorilla showing up on top of that one. Black Shootles on Peanut, safe as it times out though. Will there be much of an engage? Prey winning the wings. Big ult comes across! And gets revenge for the first 3 games. Here comes Weaver's Wall. Mugen flashes, grabs the blast cone, gets out, but Kingzone finally firing up first.
He was going for a red buff, got a bonus kill instead as it was Sword Art tanking up the damage there. He goes down, bonus for Kingzone.
Sword Art dies for his jungler's red. He says, Mugen, I hope you enjoy that one because I died for this. First bird bonus is down, but here we go in mid.
Big CC on a BDD, pretty low health bar, gets the pullback. Now Maple out of mana, surrounded as Peanut shows up. Black Shield here, he doesn't have any threat at all, and goes for the flash and an ulti to get away.
And now you're using your first hero's entrance defensively when you already are losing in the jungle tempo matchup.
Flash Wolves have been on the run since before minions even spawned. Level 1, Kingzone took control, and they have put their stamp all over this game.
This game is starting to run away from Flash Wolves. Kingzone, a full court press in this one. Shoves in all 3 lanes, farm leads in all of them as well. Not just the jungle, it's everyone. That is quintessential LCK Kingzone. Everyone's got a farm lead. Peanuts in their jungle, nothing happens.
And of course, for casting an LCK game, you say definitely a Kingzone victory from here, but they've lost a similar game against MLXG and RNG's. Watch here, just about overkilled him. It would have been very close, actually. Damage takes it down level 4. Top lane.
And now in that top side, but Khan once again able to flash away, only burns the one summoner, survives through Vladimir's ultimate.
But there is that counterpoint of MLXG lane ganking his Lee Sin, turning around a team, and Kingzone, when they're actually forcing fights, their execution has been off. So can they get there here?
Such huge CS leads across the map here for Kingzone, though. It means there's so much control. It's really difficult here for Mugen to carve something out. BDD is now going bottom.
They found a bind, but no damage to follow up there. This time around, they get away from True Shot Barrage. Gorilla actually holding this wave, making sure that Prey can walk down and grab that one, not losing any to the turret. Nicely done by Gorilla here.
This is what Kingzone are used to. Control of the entire map. Jungle matchup, constantly invading. Lanes all ahead. And looking to have a very easy road towards the mid game.
Every playmaking tool on the side of Flash has already been used defensively this game. We saw Predator pop just to get back out on the map. We saw the ultimate from the Galio used purely defensively. Playmaking has been absent, but still, with Morgana in base, Prey giving up a bit of control around bot side, they got plenty of control to surrender and still be ahead.
BG waiting on top of a control ward. Is there going to be that bot lane dive? Anything happening? Right now, no one is able to walk back to his side of the map. Holding onto the mid lane wave. Maple does not have an ultimate, but is walking down, but he's going to be going through a ward to do so. He's not going to find much for himself. Gets 25 gold, 30.
Olaf says, the jungle's not working out. I got a relic shield. I need the help, guys. Let me go for this cannon minion gank. I need the gold.
Yep, the old cannon minion gank. Definitely one of the least reliable fallbacks. Here we go, though. Gonna hand off the blue buff to BDD.
Times out the red, and then one more Q. There we go, picks it up.
Yeah, just to make sure the damage over time from the red buff doesn't take it. There's no excuses there.
Wouldn't be the first time Peanut secured a major objective with the damage over time effect, so he knows it's gonna be okay here. Still, 1,400 gold lead. Kingzone poised to close this one out and get their date with World Never Give Up tomorrow.
It's usually the part of the game where the early invades mean a little bit less, because you're not actually able to hold up that timing of every camp as you were earlier in the game. Seeing Peanut walk down to the bot side, going for a map-wide invade here. Leave us all back up.
Yeah, it feels like so much wind has been taken out of the sails of this Flash Wolves team that has accomplished so much already at the tournament, really impressing people who underestimated them.
First time we're going to see Prey go for Iceborne Gauntlet this tournament. He's on record as being a heavy preference to the Trinity Force when you go for the double tier. And it's all for this pressure. It's all for pushing and lane control. They have plenty of that.
Here comes the next move as more of the team is coming down to the bottom side, looking at maybe a first turret. Mugen actually was spotted by a sweeper. Almost catches Betty out with the Tiller and Divine. That's the ult actually as feathers fly to get away from a possible further crowd control from BDD. This turret now down to about 1/4 HP. King's unable to walk away cleanly, and they've forced an ultimate out with this siege.
All right, well, we have the possibilities of teleports. Everybody converging on the bottom side, but Kingzone don't want to throw anything away.
Just gets over the line, but still pushed back in. Very durable, though, is Maple. Not a problem for him.
And off screen the entire time in the top lane, Khan with the Comet, and going into this Cho'Gath lane that's always been there as a Vladimir counter and doing well. And we have the updated stats here to show you how Khan has done this time. We talked about the forward percentage. In the losses, still not fantastic. When he's doing well, you can visualize on the map that he's pushing into Vladimir. That's happened this game.
Sorta has to jump the wall, almost gets bound. Nice juke to the side. Gorilla maybe could have aimed that one a bit better, but gonna be able to walk away with that one. Not a problem there. Khan, of course, with that farm lead we saw. When he's got the farm lead, they tend to win. He's up 20 here.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, the bottom lane has been the focus here for Kingzone. They're able to push it in. This is going to be the first turret bonus gold. And as we said earlier, in this series especially, so much of it has been with the teams being able to move off of that early game pressure. These constant bottom side invades have really taken their toll on Flash Wolves.
And taking a toll on Maple, who once again finds himself on a facilitator, went for the Galio to try to match the Talia. There's been 3 blue buffs, none of them have gone to him. The last one chomped away with the feast by the Cho'Gath. Makes him so much more accountable. Of course, mana costs and cooldown reduction. But so many times on the Galio over patches. With all the map pressure, they take a very easy Drake, and it's been one-way traffic for Kingzone.
Yeah, you gotta say, that is a very leisurely dragon take right there, allowing Ezreal just to get last autos, leaving it at 80 HP, jungler recalling in the river. That's just how much control they have over the bottom side.
Flash Wolves is able to get something back for their pressure top set as they recall Betty and Sword Out and put them into that top lane. They grab the Rev Trail. They actually deny a mini wave on that top lane turret as well. So some things moving forward on the Flash Wolves side, but there is a big pit to dig themselves out of. The gold lead is 2,000.
A lot of darkness as well to actually get forward vision to use this Rift Herald appropriately.
Trying to set the table, though, for Flash Wolves. They still have to be looking what can they do to create positive turn in this game. They have Shirelia's done for Vladimir. Teleport and Flash are available. Galio ultimate, as you said, is a huge zoning ultimate that they can possibly use to try and set up this team fight. So Kingzone needs to make sure that they don't get flanked by that Vladimir to disallow that kind of comeback here from Flash Wolves.
Ooh, that was near an attack score right there, but not a lot of follow-up for damage anyway. As these 2-2s match up yet again, a 14 farm lead for Prey. Iceborne Gauntlet done as well, so very much a power spike in the favor of Kingzone's duo lane. See if that gets played around, if they can knock down top lane turret with it. You can see BDD walking up towards that a little bit. Peanut the same. Kingzone have been the ones calling all the shots so far in this. Sword Out forced to run away from Gorilla, who just claims a pretty easy control ward kill.
This double item spike here for Ezreal, for Prey, just affords so much power across from him is just the BF sword from Betty, all that they really have to work with. So Flash was trying to scrape together some more cash to actually fund themselves some better weapons before they actually take any sort of a fight.
And it seems like it's very good for Kingzone to stay split up like this, dealing with Galio, Vladimir team fight power, something that is very scary. And it seems like with Kingzone, they're able to play around just the lanes, continue to split push on all sides of the map. And Maple has yet to make an aggressive ultimate to find some kind of uneven fight.
Vladimir have been free farming the entire time. That's really the only thing you can say has been going well. Flash was no deaths in Hanabi's lane.
And again, the Black Shield is in time. Prey does not cut out, still has the flash as well, despite the fact that Betty and Sword Art burnt summoners. But now the dive to the back line is here. Hemo Plague is in, but the damage not going to get any kills just yet. Here comes Galio, but it's not in time as Sword Art has fallen. A big four-man taunt. Can he knock down Prey? Oh, and with Vladimir they get two. Khan has arrived though. 3 versus 4 in numbers advantage to Flash Wolves. As they kite back, will there be a battle they can win? Either way, it is a 2-for-1. Flash Wolves finally get something on the board.
That flank from Vladimir we talk about. He teleports in above Kingzone as they're pushing on the turret, about to blow the game wide open and open up the map, but they get 2 kills for 1 here and hold them off for now.
It looked like all the threat was over, but huge move coming in with the taunt from Maple does kill both Prey and Gorilla right at the tail end, so they do trade up in kills. Rifteld will have to be summoned soon. He's been holding on to it for a long time here in Mujin. That's the first proactive move that Flash has been able to pull off.
A lot was used in that fight though. Flashes from both the Galio and the Vladimir, as well as Olaf offensively to get those kills.
A 2-for-1 and a full reset does mean this top lane turret lives a lot longer than Kingzone originally intended. May take a lot of time to return to that advantage. Prey and Gorilla now in the mid lane, trying to slow down the game as Flash Wolves.
Attempted steal on the blue buff, not gonna happen. Good job by BDD, kites it away from the camp. You can see how those turret is going though. Khan will not be stopped. The second turret of the game goes to Kingzone, and once again, Flash Wolves have answered nothing, only kills.
Sword Art waiting on the last few seconds of his ultimate cooldown in the brush here on top side, and maybe looking for something with this Rift Herald spawn.
He walks in, Herald's there as well. A quick find, that won't be in time though. The charge is gonna come in. A nice chunk out of that turret, but it will be answered out.
Cool. That becomes a very dangerous position.
Pinch could be massive here.
Predator popped in, Sword Art got onto the back line, look for Pina, but now Hanabi has to get away, cannot do so. Rupture's gonna land Khan. Solo kills the top side. Flash is now forced to run in the 4v4. Not the bind, but the Weaver's wall in. However, there are escape tools available, they can walk out. But look at this mid lane, no one's gonna stop the wave. Prey is here to land some auto attacks, and this should be maybe 3-1 in turrets, not just yet.
Kingzone keeping up the pressure here. Solo kill for Khan in the top side of the map. No flash left on Hanabi from trying to use it in that last team fight. And Khan is able to take advantage.
Definitely wasn't the matchup we expected the solo kill on, just on the back of a Jace game. But this time the Cho'Gath's natural tendencies against Vladimir, expertly used by Khan. Still frustrated trying to take this third out of turret. That'd be a 3-0 lead for this Flash Wolves team that our major compliment of was the fact that from ahead they've looked so deadly.
Again, Khan here with flash advantage in the 1v1. Able to zone him forward there, and then get his autos off for the slow. Flashes in for the feast combo. And there's no way you can dodge that.
Yeah, definitely outplayed in that one-on-one. Well done to Khan. Doesn't need Jace to win that battle. Kingzone getting farther ahead now. 2.8 thousand gold. We get knocked on that mid outer turret, but it's close. This Ocean Drake in 10 seconds, they could take almost anything they want.
2 stacks of minion dematerializer left for the Vladimir, but then the Banner of Command is really going to start doing some work as well. Both Galio and Vladimir have no answer. That particular minion is another way for Kingzone to play the map, which has been the way but they've actually won this series.
They need exclusive minions, that's it though. Okay, they're backing off.
Bringing everyone again to the mid lane. Wow, this is a teleport Ezreal, so Prey pushing on bottom in an unlikely 1-3-1. A little bit of a rotation there. BDD threatening the Weaver's wall from Talia to try and collapse on the duo top.
You can see how confident Khan was in the 1v2. As you mentioned, yes, the team able to move around, but not taking any damage, freely clearing the minions under his turret.
Frey's got it all the way up to the turret, now teleporting mid for that objective. But can he get first damage?
Decent damage. He's still going to be able to get away with Black Shield on. He's not going to have a problem there. Of course, channeling Hemoplague before the ultimate meant some of the damage was not amplified. Nice attempt by Hanabi.
Can't expect the AD carries to be as good at the on-point teleports as the other lanes. A new thing for them, but did get out, all things considered. So that is 3 turrets down for Kingzone. The outer ring completely cracked. Still waiting to see, can they pull off the God combo of the Rakan initiation into the Galio? They need that proactive play. With so little map control, actually pulling off in a measured way is so difficult.
It really is difficult because there are so many things that have to come together for Flash Wolves for them to find success in that team fight. Hanabi also has to get through this Kingzone vision, trying to find himself a flank in addition to the Rakan initiation coming off cleanly, and Maple being in range for that hero's entrance. Right now, though, Kingzone playing nicely defensive around mid lane, waiting for those minions to push up. This is an Ocean Drake that's on the field.
Yeah.
Hasn't really drawn much attention.
This starts to look more and more like the Kingzone we may have expected coming into MSI 2018, where Peanut had a 17 camp lead over his opponent, took away everything, the lanes pushing on all sides, and Prey on his trademark Ezreal, his most played of the year. Just, it's been most damage in the game every single time up to this one. Kingzone looking to be a little bit more back on form here.
Sword Art continually looking for openings by sitting in brush and waiting for someone to be out of position. They were pinging on BDG in the top side too, saying they could try and jump the gun there, but not gonna have a good opportunity present itself, so he pulls off once again.
If you don't have any control wards, be a control ward yourself. And sitting in a brush is all that Sword Art can really do in this particular scenario. The Baron setup for Kingzone is going to be a little bit tricky. The Strogath wants to be in a side lane, and you really only have squishies and, you know, a semi-tank Trundle in order to both base check and start the Baron. The Baron turns here. If Khan isn't the one tanking the Baron, a little bit trickier for Kingzone, and also pumping up for the Galio is a bad idea as well.
It can be. So maybe that one stays off the table for a while, but Kingzone have just played this one correctly again. They've only found themselves into one bad fight and gave away nothing for it. Ocean Drake picked up cleanly.
And again, it's kind of Flash Wolves waiting for a mistake here from Kingzone. If we toggle the vision to look at the map from Flash Wolves' point of view, it is extremely dark. Not much vision, you know, past the mid lane here. Only a couple of straggling wards. And that's all. With their outer ring of turrets also gone, it really begins to kind of put that chokehold down.
And of course, the symptom of the early game where Olaf could never invade, was so far behind that vision in front of the river was a luxury that Flash Wolves did not have access to. That's the smothering we always refer to when the early game goes away against the Olaf.
And this is not what Flash Wolves have been used to at this tournament. They have been one of the best early games that we have had. So really good job there by Kingzone stuffing it. Now they're going mid and close to hitting that binding with the assist of a pillar.
And Bed actually choosing to use summon or heal over his ultimate in case of maybe needing to dodge a binding or something else, but I don't know, that looked a little trigger happy. Sword Art was not in danger for that one either. There's no summoner down for what could be an impending team fight. Again, we've just been talking about Kingzone having the much more controlled mid game, not giving Flash Wolves that option to find the combos, the ultimates in. There have not been those team fights almost at all. Now the siege towards mid. Weaver's wall to stop them. Now here comes the attempt. Can this be the fight? Flash Wolves need the knockup onto one. Maple looks for the taunt, won't find it. The chop on the side. Khan just shuts him down. Are there going to be any answers? Maple gets lower and lower. No, a double kill for the Cho'Gath. There is simply no openings. Kingzone take everything.
And with that, Kingzone are going to move up to the Baron buff here and take this one. The only hope left is Mugen on the Olaf, making a hero's play to sacrifice himself.
At least this time there is no Cho'Gath beast to secure, but even then it might be biting off more than he can chew.
Running for it!
Mugen has the ult, he has the flash, he's got 2,000 health on the Baron, they're re-engaged towards him, he's out of range now, and he has no chances. Stealing Sword Art could be the next one to fall. Jumps over the wall, doesn't matter, secured again by the Trundle. Kingzone take even more.
And with that, Kingzone have paved their way to the finals here at MSI. Gorilla gonna play a little game of hide and seek with Sword Art first though.
For all the exit kills they can get, here comes Spray, walks up, does a lot of damage.
Peanuts here for the pillar though. No W has E and gets back out. Sardak gets some kind of silver lining, but we might not have silver scrapes here. Kingzone just too far ahead.
Kingzone Dragon X, that was the sort of play we were alluding to. What does it look like when this engage combo plays from behind? Sadly, everything disengaged. The hero's entrance only hits Peanut, as a black shield was used onto Gorilla. Gonna get the big replay here. This is usually the triumphant Galio coming in and forcing a fight and really deciding it. But even though this is the best wombo they can muster, look at the knockups when they come through. It's only on Speed.
Yeah, they're not able to get the priority targets. Meanwhile, Khan has sights on Betty and immediately flashes in for the Feast combo.
Silence into Feast. You don't get the counterplay of that. Betty's survivability was on spells. Couldn't press R, couldn't plus flash.
They knew that Cho'Gath was there, of course, because he'd just been poking around beforehand, but Rakan saw an initiation. It didn't have all the pieces, all the dominoes we talked about so many times this series line up, and from behind, they didn't have the luxury to actually win that one.
Ray and Gorilla came here to win a championship, an international championship, something that has eluded them, but they have a very fearsome opponent waiting for them. Kingzone wanting to enter that arena in a strong manner here, finishing out this game pretty one-sided.
Yeah. Kingzone can stay on form. Will this be the MSI title they had hoped for? We'll, of course, figure that one out tomorrow, provided they win this one. The siege continues. These minions not taking damage, so dunk, dunk, dunk. The cannon still shoving down, and the top lane push happening as well. Kingzone suddenly almost 10,000 gold ahead, looking to kill off Khan. That's unlikely. Walks into the 1v2 and says, don't even try it, as mid lane now under fire as well. Kingzone poised to close it out. Still a minute left on Baron. Betty is low. Well, comes down, no engage to be had. Out they go, a knock up into the air.
Only really powers of 5 here for Flash Wolves, but they're being spread across the map, as Kingzone have done in all their victories today. Bot lane inhibitor goes down as the Banner of Command minion, the Bannon in this case, pushes forward.
Almost 12,000 gold ahead here for Kingzone, taking down inhibitors as we speak.
Kingzone, maybe in the most Kingzone game they've played this tournament. Winning every lane. They only need 6 kills. They've taken all the objectives. That's what matters. 9-0 in turrets. The second time this series they have kept a single structure from falling to Flash Wolves. All they've given up is 2 kills. They are 2 kills shy of a perfect game heading toward the final here. It would require a miracle for Flash Wolves to win this.
With that reality freak, your eyes do look forward to a potential final between RNG and Kingzone. Interestingly, we have the ultra late game team fighting team against the team that's looked so strong with their early game rotations, the Kingzone, that is a bit of a reintroduction of what we saw in Korea. I guess the one thing between the 2 teams that might push in RNG's favor is that they were never really forced to show a second thing when they were facing off against their opposition yesterday in Fnatic. They were never truly forced to move off, will outscale and team fight you. Whereas Kingzone, when they've tried to play that style, they haven't been convincing this tournament.
Definitely true. Flash Wolves themselves, a team that can be very proud of exposing a lot of those weaknesses in Kingzone that RNG are going to want to try and take advantage of later. But we still have the finishing to be done, my fans. 2 inhibitors stand. Kingzone, 7,000 gold power play is definitely going to help them get there. But they're going to have to still walk inside the base. Sort of
looking for one big play, and not going to happen. Frey, E flashes out. He's going to stay alive. And now Swordart and the rest of the team might just have to run. A nice wall. And this poor Galio now on the wrong side of the map. Nice route almost comes in. Now Peanuts in the front line. Here comes the team fight. This could be that death knell for Flash Wolves. Forward they go, looking for the chop, the silence, and the kill. Through for Khan 4-0. Vladimir trying to make the play on BDD, but he gets the cleanse. He gets the black shield. He stays alive on a double for the Cho'Gath. And Flash Wolves rapidly running out of options. Teleports to the bottom lane. Kingzone to send them home today. To send them home 3-1. Onto the turrets they go. Only 3 left alive. Flash Wolves will still be denied the international finals. They've tried so many times, but the group stage will be the best performance they ever brought out. Maple finds a single kill, looks for the second on a Gorilla. Cannot quite get the damage. The turrets are falling. Kingzone still have their team alive, but there's maybe just enough defense as the minions fall. And they have to go back and settle for the inhibitor.
Frey being forced away. The game will not end in this breath, Freak. It was so close, but the ranged 80 carry being taken down means one more attack is required. Although, maybe we're forcing now.
It's time for the big play. Maple has to step up and carry with this fight, but the disconnect, the disengage, the movement away. Kingzone make it cleanly. There is no re-engage. The Drake just going to be a freebie.
Flash Wolves still fighting here, still looking for any opening to get back into this game. But Kingzone will retreat and reset.
Thought maybe that TP would be the chance, maybe one of those Galley ultimates would be the chance, but every single time Kingzone expertly play around those replays. This one brought to you by Acer Predator.
And we're watching the replay here of how this all went down. The Trundle Pillar in fantastic spot. 2 fights in a row. Hello, I'm Trogath. Nice to meet you, Zai. You're dead. Solo kill in that side of the fight there. And from there, unfortunately, there's nothing left for Flash Wolves to build around.
Yeah, Maple was trying to join that fight, but left up on the top side there on the Galio, never enabled to get in. And now it's all over for the rest of these minions.
It is almost certainly going to be that Kingzone win, of course. Hanabi is up to death cap now. That slight miracle chance of the perfect combo ultimates can always be a possibility despite the gold lead. It's just the 1 in a million here.
Yeah, honestly, if you look back too at what Flash Wolves have completed during this tournament, I mean, they came in with such low expectations from so many analysts after the performance at Worlds, but 2 new rookies come onto the stage, absolutely explode, kind of define the way that the meta in the group stage is played. And here, pushing Kingzone very well for the beginning of the series on top of it.
Definitely increasing expectations for Flash Wolves, regardless of how domestic form is viewed. Always a difficult lens with the LMS and some of the misgivings we have about rating teams there. Kingzone walking forward here. Again, plenty for Flash Wolves to be proud of. They certainly do not come away as the 5th, 6th place team that a lot of people were looking at when they were trying to do power rankings pre-tournament.
Team that went 1-5 at Worlds and then lost part of their roster. You imagine this was going to be a weak team, but no, Flash Wolves, I thought, definitely had a pretty good run in this tournament. Sadly, looks like it's not going to be enough to knock down the Korean champions in the best of 5, though.
I mean, Flash Wolves still have teeth. Yeah, they're down 11,000 gold, but you can see how Kingzone are respecting the possibility of one of those explosive combos.
Vladimir's walking up from the river, looking for maybe what could be the last team fight of the series. Weaver's Wall comes down, BDD hoping to cut them off as they rush towards this Baron, and with the Cho'Gath, this is an easy secure.
All right, started off. Flash Wolves are out on the map, so they're gonna have to commit to this if they don't want to lose their base.
In chomp range, grabbed at 830. No one was in range in time. A great call by Kingzone, get it closed.
All right, well, the Baron buff. Kingzone can just switch over to the top side, and again, completely destroy Flash Wolves, pushing here through one last minion wave, inhibitors in their sights.
Not trying to risk anything are Kingzone. The Baron was the safest place to go. That is where they go. Watch as they try to make sure that Hanabi doesn't get in there. As we've already mentioned, the death cap has been completed for a while. Watching their flanks, they want this inhibitor.
This is the battle that will make or break Flash Wolves tournament. Gigantic gold lead, Baron buff on all 5. Rupture, not quite going to land. That's one cooldown, but Prey, just a lot of time to hit this inhibitor. That one's going to fall. Middle already gone. Bot lane alive, though. One Nexus turret missing as well. Waiting for the engage. Not going to find it yet. They're just sieging, pushing their opponents away.
Hanabi wants to get back in and change his teleport to Ghost so he can actually close the distance. Hasn't been able to actually go into the base yet.
And the job for Sword Art is so difficult. He's looking for a priority engage, but the Black Shield is going to have to be baited out.
Only on to Khan. Redemption is down. They've got to kite back away. Where's the Galio? Where's the dive in the backside? They've forced Azonia's out of BDD. Gets away with the cleanse and the flash. Prey's still alive as well. And a silence. Vladimir needs to re-engage, but Hanabi gets it. Traded out by Khan. 4v4 minions inside the base. The turrets are already dead. He's not arranged for the redemption. The re-engage not going to happen. 2 more close teamed up for Kingzone. 4v2 now in this fight, and Betty has nowhere to go. Gets the root, gets one, looks for the second. Not going to happen. Peanut gets the kill, and now Mugen against the world. His own country now to talk him down, to push him back onto the fountain, and the minions are here. The Nexus is alone, and Kingzone, in a return to form, will take the 3-1 victory over Flash Wolves.
Well, not quite yet, buddy. Mugen distracts them, and now they'll turn their sights back to the Nexus.
Well, the real Kingzone Dragon X, please stand up, was the call from so many people as the tournament went on. When would it be? When would it be? We certainly saw glimmers of the team that dominated in Korea, but also still some of the things you can target with Kingzone. It feels like if you were an analyst and had to prepare a one-pager on RNG and Kingzone, the Kingzone one will be fully featured. The RNG one, outside those early losses, there's still things we don't know because they haven't been pushed in the same way.
Flash Wolves proving that the real Kingzone does have flaws. Not the team that completely dominated LCK. They have had their struggles throughout this tournament. They have grown and they have overcome them.
Lots of cheers for Peanut. I remember this from Worlds not long ago where he kind of made his name for himself, had been a pro for just under a year, and well, everyone really, or sorry, just over a year, I misspeak, but had really stepped up in Chicago and looked amazing against one of the world's greatest junglers. And this time around, a great cheer for Flash Wolves as well. I agree. It feels bittersweet to lose in the semifinals, but it felt like a bit of a re-breakout tournament for Flash Wolves, a team that had such struggles the last year or so, and again, lost part of the roster and had a good look this year at MSI.
Hanabi pulling out his Yasuo, having carry performances, carry wins against Khan.
Yeah.
You know, the #1 carry top laner.